welcome to the panel on relieving or cleansing trauma. Okay, but one of the things that I like to do when I take a topic is to see simply what does the Oxford Dictionary have to say about it. So if I look, the Oxford Dictionary says a deeply disturbing or distressing experience. Okay, that's pretty simple and we can work that out. But then there is a deeper explanation. You know what? And the deeper explanation is going to say trauma is the lasting emotional response that often results from living through a distressing event. Experiencing a traumatic event can harm a person's sense of safety, sense of self, and ability to regulate emotions and navigate relationships. And there are three types of trauma. One is acute trauma, which results from a single incident. Two, chronic trauma. It's repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. Or complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. So now we've defined it. In case you're wondering what we're talking about here, now you know exactly what we're on about. Now, the three of us work in a very energetic way, so we're going to be looking at it from different aspects. But I want to tell you some very concrete things that any one of us here, you don't need to have any of our skills. Very few simple things. One, open the lines of communication as soon as possible after your traumatic event. Okay? Try and get out and move. That's right. Do exercise if you can. If it's a bit challenging, it's good. If it's too much and you feel like resting, then rest. Okay? That's fine. Listen to your body. Your body, okay, that's a big thing that we have to try and do, is listen to what our body is telling us. Okay, it knows, it has a way of understanding what we need to heal. So we eat healthy meals, you rest when you have a chance, do things that make you happy. Whatever makes you feel good, take the time, if you can, to treat yourself. Try and get back into a routine. That's a goal, okay? It's not like, okay, I went through whatever it is, tomorrow I'm back at work and everything's fine, okay? It's not so simple, but if you have that as a goal and work towards getting back to regular routine, that's terrific, okay? Now, alcohol could be very calming and very delightful when you're going through a traumatic situation or after, etc. However, it may be good at the beginning, but afterwards it becomes part of the problem. Not only is alcohol a depressant, it's also addictive. So let's not, let's try and avoid that. It doesn't mean you can't have a glass of wine. Okay, I'm not saying that, obviously. Okay, and if you find little pockets of joy in your life, try and enjoy those pockets of joy. Okay, try and celebrate success where you can and when you can. Okay, so now just giving you some basic general stuff, but now I want to hear from the energetic world. Okay, we're going to start off with the Bach flowers. Okay, Satsang is going to tell us about Bach flowers and about the different ways in which she heals and a little bit about herself, and go for it. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Satsang, and it's so nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Gila. And very nice meeting Sury for the first time today as well. So just so you know a bit about who I am, as Gila mentioned, I work with Bach flowers. I work in general with holistic well-being and a lot of different modalities. One is Bach flowers, which are flower essences, and I'll explain a bit more about them so it's more in context. I also work with access bars and healing, which helps clear energetic blockages in your body, your physical body, and also your auras. And I also work with human design, which is a way of optimizing your energy and a way of making decisions better and learning how to communicate more effectively. But we're talking about Bach flowers and in the context of cleansing trauma. So I want to show you what Bach flowers look like so you can see something physical. This is my Bach flower set. It's one of my favorite possessions. And these are the Bach flowers inside. They come in small little magic bottles, and there's 38 of them, and each of them helps different emotional states or thought patterns or moods. And just to give an example of one, this, for instance, is aspen. And aspen is really good for a lot of situations when you're feeling anxious. Not all, but a whole number of them. And so someone who's feeling anxious, it might be helped by aspen. So what I do is my clients come to me either through Zoom or telephone or in person. I'm in Israel, in Pardes Chana, and I take a number of these beautiful little magic bottles, and I create a tincture especially for them. And they take it and they feel better, and it's just magic. It's lovely. And so things that are helped a lot by Bach flowers are things such as anxieties and worries and trauma, such as we're talking about. As well as that, a lot of people with sleep problems are helped a lot with Bach flowers, because Bach flowers help balance our thoughts and our moods. And a whole lot of people don't sleep well because they're worrying too much or they're thinking too much. And so Bach flowers are very, very helpful for that. And they're also great for increasing motivation and stopping procrastination and having more of a feeling of energy and optimism. I just love them, you can tell. And but onto the cleansing trauma, I want to talk about two different groups of clients, if I get to the second one as well, that are helped a lot by Bach flowers. The first group, sadly, has been happening a lot over the last couple of months, which is a lot of soldiers have been undergoing a lot of trauma, either through the things they've experienced or else because of people that they've lost. And so Bach flowers have been treating a number of soldiers, and it's been very, very helpful. And it's sad, but it's helpful. And the second group, which I may not get to because of our time, are animals, because a lot of animals also undergo trauma. So if you think of a lot of cats and dogs that are in our lives, many of them were strays at some point. And just in the same way that we carry traumas from our childhood, the same thing with animals. If the trauma hasn't cleared out, things that they experienced as being as a kitten or a puppy or whatever when they were stray will often still be with them. And Bach flowers are a very, very good non-drug way of helping animals cleanse, release from trauma. And so what I like to go through with you are some of the Bach flower tinctures that are good for cleansing trauma. And just like anything, depending on whether or not you need a certain tincture, sorry, let me rephrase that. Depending on your situation or someone who's undergone trauma, depends on whether or not you need a certain tincture. And what I would also like to do is to put in the chat, and I will do that right now, is a link where you can download a sheet of 6 different Bach flowers that can help release trauma in the event that I don't get through them all this evening. So I'm just going to put that in right now, as well as there's a way to contact me, because I always love answering questions. If you have any questions at all, if you just want to chat with me, I always like getting to know people a lot better. So that is in the chat right now. And
yep.
So
it's also going to be in the follow-up email. You'll get all of these details as well.
Okay, So let's go on to the Bach flowers that are helpful for trauma. So one of the basic ones is called Star of Bethlehem. This is your basic Bach flower remedy, which is good for releasing trauma. It's often the acute type that Gil's talking about, acute trauma and also chronic trauma. It helps both. A lot of it is also acute. For instance, Star of Bethlehem is in rescue remedy, which some of you might know. It's a Bach flower combination often used when someone is undergoing shock or something, a traumatic experience. And what Star of Bethlehem does is help you release trauma from your body, because as you know, when trauma gets stuck in our body, it can cause illness. And so it releases it, but in a gentle way. And for myself, whenever I take Star of Bethlehem, I feel like I'm giving this big hug, and it's this nice cosmic hug. And so Star of Bethlehem is a lovely tincture for helping release trauma. Another one is rock rose. And rock rose is indicated for someone who's feeling extreme fear or terror, including from nightmares. Because as you know, sometimes after undergoing trauma, someone experiences nightmares. And so rock rose is also very, very useful for helping cleanse trauma. And incidentally, also rock rose is in rescue remedy. Now, one tincture which some people need but other people don't after going through a traumatic experience is pine. Pine is interesting. It's useful when we're feeling guilt or feeling that we're not deserving. And sometimes in traumatic experiences, there is a sort of a residual sort of misplaced guilt. Sometimes if there's two people who've gone through an experience and one survives and one hasn't, sometimes the person who survived feels some sort of residual guilt, which again is utterly misplaced because it's not their fault, but our emotions are not something that we need to argue with. We just can deal with our emotions and help them heal. And the same thing I would hear on the news a few times, some people who lived in the center of the country before October 7th and their family went for the Hagim to the south, and the same thing, that some of them felt this sort of misplaced guilt. And so in that case, pine could be very, very useful. And another tincture, which is another Bach flower, which is also helps a lot in some cases, is wild rose. It's not rock rose, which we talked about, which is good for fears and terror, but wild rose. Wild rose is good for increasing vitality in life and the feeling of energetic and wanting to do things. And sometimes after being through a very challenging period or difficult experiences, some people can feel numbness and not want to be doing anything. And wild rose is good for that. Incidentally, it's also good for non-trauma situations when someone's just wanting to get a bit more motivation to be doing things. And a fifth tincture, which is really good for situations of when someone's gone through a traumatic experience for cleansing trauma, is willow. If someone happens to be feeling bitterness or powerlessness after an unpleasant experience, willow can help a lot with that. And I'm going to stop.
Can I ask you a question? When you say willow or when you say pine, is it like the willow tree that I have growing in my garden?
It comes from that. Now, that's a very good question. And how Bach flowers are, the Bach flower remedies are made is the same way as homeopathic remedies. And so it's a flower or the blossom of the plant. It's put either in boiling water or else in bowls of water in the sun, depending on what the plant is. And so what remains is none of the actual flower itself, but rather the energetic frequency. And so that way, someone who happens, for instance, even to be allergic to the plant itself, there's only the energetic frequency, and so they can take it. So yes, it is the willow that you see growing outside. It is the blossoms from it. And so that's what's in it, is the energetic imprint of the blossoms. And I see that my time is up, is it not?
So you're good.
Oh, I have a couple. Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay.
No, you're good, really.
Okay, so that's a very good question. So that's what it is. And there's one other tincture I do want to talk about that is good for cleansing trauma in some cases, which is larch. And larch is it's a great tincture. It's something I actually myself take a lot. It's very good for self-confidence. And so sometimes after someone's gone through a traumatic experience, they might feel a lack of confidence. I mean, I know a lot of people, for instance, not soldiers, but people, civilians, who feel a little bit concerned about walking around or going around into certain places now after October 7th. And now larch won't make a person foolhardy, but they'll increase their self-confidence in places where they might feel a lack of it. So all of those are there. And if you have any questions, I would just love to hear them. Do I have any time right now for a question, Gila, or is my time up?
One question. We could do one question.
Okay.
One question.
I can't really see any hands or anything if anybody does.
Okay,
how do you do it online? How do you do these things online?
How I do is it's on a Zoom or phone call. And so my client will tell me what's going on with them. I create the formula and then I send it to them. And so they'll just get it through a courier. So that's how we do it online. We have a discussion like we're having right now, where I find out what's going on and what tinctures would be the best ones for them.
Terrific. Okay. And in general, the way you assess people, the way you give them tinctures is basically they come to you and they tell you what's going on for them.
Exactly. I learned Bach Flowers at the Bach Center in England, which is where Dr. Bach, who created the Bach Flower system, where he lived and he worked. And so I learned through his technique. And his technique was through conversation. Now, other people do it other ways, through pendulums and cards, and those are all fine. But I learned through conversation, and I actually really connect with it, because oftentimes when we talk about what's going on for us, we get clarity just through the conversation itself. And many times for a traumatic experience, we can also experience an element of healing. And so, and also through conversation, the person talks about what's most important for them right now. And that was Dr. Bach's approach, to deal with what is important right now. And that comes through the discussion. And so I very much connect with that the client themselves is the first step towards the healing process.
Terrific. Okay. Wow. That was fascinating, Satsang. You know, if there's time after, we'll have questions, but I want to make sure that we each, you know, that everybody has chance, you have a chance to hear everybody what they've got to say. And if there's an opportunity, then I will be more than happy to allow questions.
And like I said, I'm always open to questions afterwards. My link to me is in the chat. And so I just encourage anyone with any questions. I can talk forever, and I'd love to answer any questions you have afterwards. So that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, that was terrific. Thank you very much. It's like opens a different sort of a world, but it's all, you know, these I put it in the same category as the crystals. You know, they're gifts from God. Hashem has given us all these different gifts, and it's a matter of what you choose, what works for you, and what you're going to use. It's amazing. Thank you very much. And there'll be special offers, which Satsang is going to tell you afterward. And Sury, you know, we'll come back at the end and we'll discuss those special offers. And I think we're going to move straight on to Sury now. And I think it's fascinating to hear from her. And for me, it was like you know, Hashgacha Pratit, when I was in the United States recently, somebody who studied under Sury said, Gila, you must meet her, because Sury also works with crystals among other things. And given her background, coming from a Chasidishe background and still being in that world today, it was very important. You know, if Sury's using crystals, then anybody who's got questions about them being kosher, like, come on, these are what Hashem has given us. But I'll ask you to say that for a minute. I say that all the time, but you know, I think that when it comes from you, it sounds a bit different. And Sury herself went through a challenging childhood, so I will be delighted. We'll be delighted to hear from you. Thank you, Sury.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me, Gila. It's really my pleasure and my honor to be here. I feel so humbled to be here with everybody in this space. It's just so amazing. So I grew up in Borough Park in Brooklyn, and I did go through quite a few traumatic incidents in my childhood. My whole childhood was actually one long traumatic situation. And at the age of 10, I developed chronic migraines. And chronic migraines are 14 or more headaches in 1 month. And I was having them on a daily basis. So I definitely did reach that criteria of being diagnosed with chronic migraines. And I was constantly homesick. I was on a rotation of many different medications, and nothing was working for me. At the age of 16, because of my traumas and my constant headaches, I became anorexic. And I started seeing a therapist who taught me all about shelving. Let's shelve all the traumas, and in that way, you'll be able to heal. Now, shelving helped to some extent. I was able to function, get married, start having children. And then when my mother passed away, I was 22 years old. It kind of all boomeranged in my face. Everything blew up for me. And I was like, this is not working for me. I'm in therapy for so many years already. Shelving has worked. I'm functioning, but it hasn't given me a quality of life. And I started researching other modalities, started doing acupuncture and chiropractic care and all that. And I was functioning better, but still not functioning at an ideal level and still suffering with those migraines, never ending migraines. And there was just no way that I was getting through that. I was taking at that point about 15 different vitamins a day, including my medication, and nothing doing. I was still constantly under trauma. It came to a point where I was introduced to the energetic world, and I actually trained to be a practitioner, and I started healing myself through that modality of energy, and my migraines are gone, and I would say that I thank God, Baruch Hashem, so grateful, and so are most of my traumas. At this point, I would say that 91% of my traumas are released. And to me, that is very, very significant and a very big, huge milestone, and just shows that we can all heal. Traumas can be healed. We do not need to live with our traumas. There is a misconception out there that traumas need to be lived with and we need to be dealt with, and kind of that traumas need to be shelved, and you have to figure out a way how to live with them, around them, through them, or with them, in whatever way that works within your society. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can increase our quality of life to 100%. We can live happily, joyfully, with a release, a complete release of our traumas. They do not have to hold us hostage. They do not have to hold us back at all. So what is energy work? It's fascinating, it's mind-boggling, and I'm totally in love with it. Up until my introduction to energy, I was a behavioral therapist, and I had a lot of children and teenagers who came to me who had undergone trauma and were not functioning in the school system or in their home environment, and came to me because they were undergoing behavioral challenges within their environment. And through my behavioral approach, I would create a behavior modification plan for them that would kind of help them achieve the best possible them within their environment. Talk therapy and behavioral modifications. But then I got introduced to energy, and this has become my new love. It is unbelievable how we can clear our traumas. Energy work is a modality where we all are created with a spark of Hashem within us, with a manifestation of Hashem's light that rests within us. We can't see it, but we can tap into it through our unconscious mind, through our subconscious mind, whichever way we want to phrase it. And what I would describe it as being, because it's such an abstract thing, the way I describe it is that it's kind of like, the shadow that walks next to us in the sunlight, and we kind of want to jump on it, but we could never catch it. That's kind of our energy body. It's there. It's always with us. It never leaves us. And whatever happens to us gets imprinted on our energy body. It's there forever unless we remove it. Every trauma that happens to us, every exposure, everything that ever happens to us gets imprinted onto our energy body and somehow settles somewhere within our body through our energy body, and doesn't leave us unless we remove it. And how can we remove it? There is a modality through energy work where an energy practitioner can access the energy body by inviting the energy body to us. And in that sense, we look, where is that trauma hiding? Where is it? Is it in the brain system, or is it in the hand and the legs? Is it in the solar plexus? Which part of our body is it? And which energy center is it? Where is it sitting? And in that sense, we get to release it gently, easily and effortlessly, very gently, so that the actual physical body doesn't get harmed in the process. And when that is released, the physical body, the person itself, feels the release. They feel that they just released what was holding them back. That trauma is not something they need to carry with them forever, and they can gently let it go, as well as guilt. Guilt is also something that settles within our body. It leaves an imprint on us, but it doesn't need to be. We don't need to carry that around with us. We can let go of it. It's okay. We give ourselves permission to let go, to move on. And what I always do is that when I release a trauma, or I release a negative emotion, a trapped emotion, whether it's guilt or whether it's feeling a humiliation or a sadness, a depression, whatever that trapped emotion is, I'm always infusing the space, because when we leave a space empty, it would fill back up with a feeling or the emotion or the trauma that was released, unless we're first filling it up with something positive. So I use Bach remedies like satsang, or I use crystals like gila, or I use colors or essential oils to fill the space with healing. Intuitively, I intuit what that person needs at the moment for that particular moment. And I don't have full training in Bach remedies, neither do I have full training in crystals, but I do intuit what they need in that moment and fill up the space with it, so that it's not left empty, so that the trauma has no space to go back in. I put in drainage lines to drain away the trauma, to drain away the stress, the guilt, the fears, and we release it and say, it's okay. It's okay to let go, because we all deserve it. We all deserve to let go and to live fully and happily, contently. We all do that. We all do deserve that. On a different note, I also do NLP. NLP is also a fabulous methodology to release trauma for those who want to be a little more involved in their healing, because energy work is extremely remote and it's abstract for a lot of people. For those who have undergone tremendous trauma, they like that route because they don't have to be involved at all. I do the work for them and they feel it. I do it on an energetic level and they feel it on a physical level. They feel that release, that lightness, where they can go ahead and live their life to the fullest. The way it works in NLP is I work with a client through Zoom or in person, where I'm coaching them to access their unconscious mind. We work on their timeline to find the place where the trauma occurred, help them go down into that trauma while they're in their unconscious mind, releasing the trauma, and again, finding the positive learnings that they can take along with them on their timeline till their current age, and take it along with them into the future, envisioning themselves living those positive learnings in the most healing way possible. And it's absolutely amazing. And what I do with my clients as well is I teach them how to access their unconscious mind, even when they're not in therapy, so that when they are going through any situation in their own time, they can access their unconscious mind on their own, find the trauma, find the fears, find the guilt. Or a question I teach them to ask is, what is it that I'm feeling right now that has to be released? And where is it on my timeline? And they can travel back, find the time that caused the trigger today, release that, and so release what happened to them today as well. And they can do it on their own time, in their own home, or wherever they are. And it's very, very fascinating. It's extremely releasing. We don't have to hold on to our pain. We can let go.
Wow.
Yes.
Totally fascinating. Totally
It is.
fascinating.
It
See,
is.
we have everything within us. It's all there
We do.
within us. You know,
We
Hashem.
do. Hashem has given us all the gifts that we need to function. And we all just need to tap into ourselves and say, what do I need right now for myself? And take that for ourselves, give ourselves that moment to tap in, to focus on ourselves, because we deserve it. We deserve it. We earned it. We are here because Hashem approves us to be here. And if He approves of us, then we approve of ourselves as well. And we earn to live fully, happily, and contently just by being here.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Fascinating.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Sury. That was really very interesting.
Yeah.
And
If I can take a moment, Gila, do I have one more minute?
Sure.
Literally 90 seconds. What I would like to do is an NLP technique that I want to teach all of you, that you can all use whenever you're feeling panic or you're feeling you're not grounded or anything. It literally takes 90 seconds to reground all our energy centers and our systems and our heart rate back to normal, back to balance. So if all of you would like to join me, I'd like to do this little exercise real quick with all of us. And then you can do it on your own time whenever you need it and you're feeling overwhelmed, panicked, or whatever it is. You just do it and it works. It's magical. I love it. All my kids do it, from the youngest to the oldest. They all do it and it works amazing. It's called going into peripheral vision. We usually, as human beings, we focus through foveal vision. Foveal vision means we take in everything that's within our environment. We see everything. We see every little detail that's within our environment, and we don't have the opportunity usually to focus on what's really important. Kind of like zooming in and being able to focus on what's really important and let go of the negativity around us, of the toxicity, of anything that's draining us energetically, or as we like to say, draining our batteries, right? So when we let go of everything that's draining our batteries and we're just focusing inwards, then we can have the ability to relax ourselves. So instead of being a foveal vision, we go into something called peripheral vision. Peripheral vision means we just tap in inwards and we allow ourselves to access calmness, serenity, and peace within us when we are in a panic mode, or we are in trauma mode, or we're going through something that's overwhelming to us at the moment. So if you're all just going to come along with me, I'm going to ask you to all just raise your eyes upwards without moving your head, focusing upwards to a point that's just above your line of vision. And just focus there. Focus and allow your breathing to come in. Breathing in and out. In and out. And as you're breathing, notice the sounds that you hear. The sound of my voice. Maybe it's the air conditioning buzzing. It's electricity hissing. Notice the color that your eye is focused on. Notice the sound of your own heartbeat beating inside of your chest. Calming. Slowing down. Allowing you to feel your own greatness, your own amazingness, your own beauty. Breathe into that beauty. Breathe into that calmness. Breathe into that serenity. Take a moment to allow it to flow through your body. Whenever you're ready, bring your eyes downwards. Come back into the room.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you.
90 seconds to regulate us back to normal.
Wow. Wow. Shake us back in. I'm very lucky because I got to look at my my stone on my Avnei Choshen of the stone of Binyamin. And it was like there are 3 stones there, and it's like, no, the one I'm looking at is Binyamin.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful stone.
Yep. So that was like amazing for me. So thank you. And I think it's great. I appreciate that everybody has something, an exercise to take home from today.
Sure. And if anyone has anything to ask me, I'm available. You can contact me through WhatsApp or through email, but WhatsApp is best. I'm always available. I love talking about this. This is my passion. Healing is my passion. I believe that everybody should be healed. Everyone deserves to be healed and can be healed. We all deserve that. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. As we say, we're all children of Hashem, and He loves us all. He loves us all equally. So we deserve a good life. Yes, we had the ups and downs. We don't know why we had to have those things, but we also have the zchut, the honor, the ability. We can also get over everything. Please God. Sometimes it's challenging. We're not saying it's not challenging. No one's belittling anybody, God forbid, what people have been through. So for sure. And as I said, I'm going to send you up I will send you out a follow-up email, which will have Satsang's contact info and Sury's contact information. Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit, guess what, about crystals. Crystals being one of the gifts, money gift of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that Hashem has given us. And they have so many areas that they are able to help us in. Okay, let's see if I can get this right. Still thinks the other speaker, sorry. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so one of the things that I do, I like to go usually more deeply to help find out what's going on and where does this trauma stem from? What is the cause and what is the basis of this trauma? I had one woman whom I met with, and her trauma came from her childhood. She said, Gila, I had a very, very difficult childhood. Okay, I think she lived from Caravan Park to Caravan Park. Her mother wasn't in the picture, only her father, and her sister was more popular. There were two of them, and the father liked the sister better. So she had a rough childhood. She worked with herself. She happened to have been a very energetic person. So she had various physical ailments because when we go through these things, like Sury said, she went through whatever she went through, and she had migraines. Okay, and we know that they come from usually from an emotional place. So this woman was suffering. She had headaches and digestive issues, etc. I really gave her crystals for the digestion, and I gave her a crystal for cleansing, to cleanse the trauma out of her system. And I'm going to surprise all of you when I tell you I gave her a pearl. Okay, exactly, a pearl, like we all know on our beautiful pearl necklaces. I said, I want you to take this pearl, and now I hope you're all sitting. I said, I want you to swallow this pearl like you swallow a tablet. I want you to swallow the pearl, because that cleanses all of our system. And she did it. She swallowed the pearl, and she said, Gila, you can't believe what a difference this has made to me. I feel that my system has been cleansed. First time I really feel cleansed from all that I've been through. So the pearl is one of the crystals that we work with, and it also can help us with headaches and all different things, but it's something that's going to get rid of that trauma and difficulty in our system. The other thing is there is a particular set of stones, a family of stones, which are called cleansing stones. This is the calcite family, okay? So for example, this stone here belongs to the calcite family, and guess what it's called? It's called blue calcite, okay? And this one here, I bet you're gonna guess it, is a green calcite. Now, calcites come in a wide range of colors, yellow and blue and green, and there's one that we call mahogany, different colors, and they release traumas, calcites together, and they actually help to release traumas from within our system. So it's quite unbelievable to work it out, okay, and to understand what is going on. And now when somebody comes to me, what happens is I show them all of my 100+ crystals. And when I show them my 100+ crystals, they actually choose crystals that they need. And when they choose the crystals, they're choosing whatever it is they want. The frequencies of the crystals attract them. They talk to their actual frequencies, okay? It's the energy of the crystals is talking to my energy, and I'm going to choose whichever crystal is good for me, because each of the crystals that I work with have a specific meaning. And if I ever doubted it, when I do the assessments, then I see what's happening. Then I totally understand that. So we met earlier on today during class, okay? We met somebody's grandson, and we could see that this young man had gone through some sort of trauma in his childhood. So we knew that it was something that we wanted to cleanse. But this 6-year-old little boy wasn't going to say to us, I've been through something difficult, I've been through a trauma. And it might have been when he was, like really, really a baby. So he's not even going to know about it. But we know that this is still with him and it needs to be cleansed. So we're going to take all our different crystals. There are particular crystals that I would call cleansing crystals, which are the ones that we're interested in today. And when I looked up the list of cleansing crystals, wow, there's lots of them for all different situations. But one of them is called the Taktite, which I have here. And the Taktite is sort of a blackish stone, and it's actually a meteor. And this Taktite, you hold it, or you could put it in your house, in the front of your house, and it absorbs all the, what we call jiffa, all the yuck, all the extra baggage that's hanging around. This Taktite can really help to absorb and get rid of this. There are people that wear this Taktite on their neck. It's fine. It's a stone that can be worn anywhere. Okay. And it really helps to cleanse out our system. Okay. And another stone that is very good. You know, sometimes we're feeling overwhelmed and like, I can't do anything else. It's like, whoa, I can't manage anymore. I need to stop. I don't know what to do. So the great stone for that would be the fluorite. Now this is a rough fluorite here. And here is another rough fluorite over here. And these stones are wonderful when we're totally feeling overwhelmed. So if we're sitting with lots of trauma in our system, then it's going to then something else that's added to that level is then going to cause our system to go out of whack. And then we can take the fluorite and it is going to help us to cleanse our system. Okay. There are lots and lots of stones here that are going to help us with all of this. And another one I'm going to choose to talk about because I love it dearly is called the aquamarine. Okay. Aquamarine, we know about. Aquamarine is also from the 12 of Hoshen, the 12 stones worn by the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, in the Beit HaMikdash. And he was from the tribe, it is the stone that relates to the tribe of Asher. Now, the aquamarine has usually a beautiful blue color, and it is a stone of clarity, but it helps us. It's like a philosopher's stone, you know. So if you're the philosopher type, it's a great stone for you, but it also helps to clear out all that baggage we've got in our system, along with another stone I just want to touch on is called amber. Okay, you probably have heard of amber, and a lot of little babies wear amber necklaces because when they're teething, it's very soothing to them. So apart from being soothing to physical pain and being good for burns as well, it's a soothing stone, and it helps if somebody's feeling melancholy and just not feeling terrific. Amber is really, really helpful. But not only that, it is a stone that indicates to me that somebody has been through a trauma, and it helps to cleanse that trauma. Okay, so there are all sorts of crystals that are there for our purpose, for our use, to help clear traumas, and there are different ways of using them. So I'm just going to 1 minute to tell you there are different ways. One is we could wear them. So today I'm wearing this particular bracelet, okay, which happens to have garnets on it and black tourmaline. Black tourmaline, my friends, if you haven't heard it, is a very protective stone, and it's a stone that we've been giving to a lot of the soldiers now. Okay, the black tourmaline. Beginning, I had packets of it, and I would just go and distribute black tourmaline wherever I saw a soldier. Okay, and I lost my train of thought. Okay, so we have the black tourmaline, which is helpful for that, and we can wear them. That's what I was at. We were wearing them. We can also wear them in different places on our body, you know, like most of us can wear them in our bra. Okay, not all stones go everywhere, and there's a whole Torah, a whole method, which is going to explain to us how we use each of our crystals. But the other method, which is really interesting and helpful, particularly for children, is you can put stones, not all of them again, but certain stones will go into water, into a glass of water, of mineral water. And after 24 hours, you can drink that water, similar to satsang. The frequencies of the crystals transfer to the water, and then you drink the water. But this is a daily thing that you're doing for yourself. So that's like the tip of the iceberg on crystals. Now what I'd like to do is ask Satsang to come back and tell us what her special offer is for everybody, and then I'll ask Sury and I'll tell you what I'm offering.
Okay, so I want to say with crystals, I'm wearing rose quartz right now. I actually wear it a lot when I have clients. And so my special offer, which is good until Friday, if someone wants to buy some Bach flowers, order Bach flowers from me, they will also be receiving a roller. Now in this roller, there's also there are Bach flowers as well as essential oils, because like Sury, I also use essential oils. And I find that the combination of Bach flowers and essential oils together is lovely because they both work on the emotions and our thoughts and our feelings, and they layer very beautifully because they each act in different ways. And so the Bach flower mixture that's inside of this roller is something that I've created. It's called Goodbye Cranky, and it does exactly what it says. It's really good when you're feeling annoyed or irritated or angry or resentful or grouchy or cranky. I actually originally created it for myself because every afternoon I'd be feeling cranky, and then I realized that a lot of other people also do, and it's actually very, very popular. And together with essential oils that help relax you. And so that's until Friday. And Gila will put all the contact, all the details in the recording.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Wow, ladies, take advantage. Amazing. Amazing. Sury.
Okay, ladies. So I wanted to do a little grounding exercise with all of you together now, just like we did the peripheral vision before. I want to leave you with one more exercise that you can do on your own as well, which is a grounding exercise that you can do for yourself whenever you're feeling ungrounded or kind of like fuzzy, like I'm just so overwhelmed right now. I feel like everything is shaky beneath me, and where am I going from here? Just for you to be able to get your ground back underneath you. So whenever you're ready, and if you're ready, if you'd like to join me, we're just going to do a quick grounding exercise through like a little meditation. Just for a minute or two. Gila, is that okay? I can't hear.
Sorry, we're running pretty close to time.
Okay,
Can you
fine.
send it to us?
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'm gonna put it together as a meditation, and I'll send it to you for you to be able to post it. How's that?
Wow, that's fabulous. And then you're going to have it with you, ladies. You'll be able to access it whenever you would like. Terrific. Terrific. Thank you very much.
More than that, Gila, what I would like for everybody to learn is that your healing can come from within yourself as well. We don't always, we need a support system because as humans, we're interrelated and we're interconnected. We must have support. But I also want you to know that you have the power within you to heal. You have the power within you to find that healing if you need it at the spur of the moment and you don't have that moment to reach out to somebody, or it's the middle of the night, whatever it is, you can access that healing within you. We are all so powerful. We are all so strong. We have that power within us. We can heal. We can do it for ourselves. We can give ourselves that gift of, even if it's just for that temporary moment until we get to our support, we don't have to feel like we're alone. And that is something I'd like to give you so that you can access it and learn it to do it on your own, even if there's no other outside voices to it.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And
Sure.
ladies, if a lot of you know this, that I teach about the crystals, how to use them. If you're interested in learning how to understand at a deeper level what's going on for somebody, and you can understand it all through the beautiful gift of crystals which Hashem has given us. So I actually have a course beginning on the 14th of January, and I will give anybody who signs up by Friday, all the gifts are until Friday, I'll give them an additional, because there's an early bird special on right now, and on top of that you will get a 7% discount. Okay, so if you sign up quickly and smartly, you get a really good price on that I don't normally give. And this time my course includes an assessment. So each person taking the course will also receive an assessment so they actually understand what the process is all about. When they're learning, they've experienced it on themselves. Okay, so thank you very, very much, everybody. It has been really wonderful. Thank you, Sury, and thank you, Satsang. You're both fabulous, and I'm sure you're, amazing practitioners, wonderful people, and have so much to offer. So thank you very much for joining me today, tonight, on this panel. Depends where you're sitting. Okay, all the best, everybody. Lihitraot. See you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very, very much, Gila. Thank you.
This was marvelous, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. That's a big compliment
welcome.
coming from Devora, because as you see, Devora is a child psychiatrist, so I take that as a very big compliment. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Gila.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks everybody for joining. Lihitraot.